Welcome to Pick Up and Deliver, the podcast where I pick up my audio recorder when I step off the train and deliver an episode to you while I walk home. I'm Brendan Riley. Well, good evening, listeners. It is 4:15 on a Thursday afternoon. I'm at the end of my work week, or the end of my teaching week anyway. I just got out of my board games as literature class where we played Wavelength and Two Rooms and a Boom and talked about how games create stories, and we just got started on our journey. It's going to be a good time. Well, today I'm taking my second run at episode 3 of season 2 because the first time I recorded it, the microphone wire came unplugged when I put my phone in my pocket, so I recorded the whole thing just talking to myself. So, this is attempt number 2. So, a while ago, I posted on the Guild for Pick Up and Deliver, number 3269, if you head over to Board Game Geek, that I was thinking about whether I should do a top X list. A lot of podcasts will do a top 10 of 2019 type of list, and those lists are all coming out right now. But I counted it up, and I played 29 games that Board Game Geek says were published in 2019. So a top 10 list felt a bit egregious to me. It seems like if a third of the games you played go on the top of the list, it's not really that elite to put that many games in a list. And so a number of kind listeners commented in various ways about they'd be happy with a top 5 list or just happy to hear my thoughts. Well, one comment stood out in particular. I think it was Chris Hickman, who said that he is always a little dubious about a top whatever list for the previous year because the year has just ended and there's all these games that came out that I haven't had a chance to play. We know from various conversations that at least a couple thousand board games came out last year, and several hundred of them are probably really good. So the idea that I've played 29 and I'm now going to declare which top 5 or 10 are the best seems a little silly, even if I caveat just of the ones I've played. So what I decided to do instead is I'm going to do a little bit later, maybe a week or two, I'm going to do a top 5 or top 10, probably top 5 list for 2018. So I'm going to take all the games I played in 2018 and 2019 that were published in 2018 and pick out the 5 I think are most worthy of your attention. For the 2019 list, I've decided what I'm going to do is I've just come up with some silly awards, sort of cribbing from the method used over on So Very Wrong About Games, with Mike Bigney and Mark Nelson. That doesn't sound right. Mike and Mark over there. I'm sort of cribbing from their idea, more like an award show. Like I come up with a wacky award name and pick a game that fits that. And so I'm just going to pick out 5 or so games that I think are deserving of mention in that way. And then I've also got a watch list of games that I think if I had to make a top 5 2019 games, these are the ones that would be on there. So they'll definitely be games to keep an eye on, or if you haven't had a chance to try them yet, they would certainly get my hearty approval for a try. So with that, I'll jump right in. And I'll start with the award I'm calling Bester Than Expected. So the phrase better than expected suggests a game where you thought it would be at one level and you got it and it was better than you expected. So Bester Than You Expected is the award for the game that exceeded my expectations of it by the most. So a game that I really thought would be great that exceeded my expectations even just a little would not be as good as the game I thought it was going to be bad and turned out to be really good. That said, the game I'm picking here, Res Arcana by Tom Lehman, was not a game I expected to be bad. It was pretty well reviewed, so I expected that it would be enjoyable, but I did not realize how good it was going to be, which is very good. Res Arcana so far is an excellent little deck, kind of a deck builder. It's an engine builder, because you get your deck at the beginning, you draft it, and then you have the 8 cards. And basically that's your entire deck. You're not going to buy more cards. It's just a matter of playing them in the right order and using them for resources or using them to build an engine, sort of get things rolling. and find a strategy to win before anyone else does. It's a very fast game, really interesting interplay between the cards, and really, really good. Like, I think it's an excellent, tight little game, much better than I expected. In fact, bester than I expected. That's Res Arcana from Tom Lehman. The next award is the Worse for the Wear award. This one goes to the game that, as I play it more, I get less excited about it. It's not an ideal. I don't like to be super negative, but I do think that there is value to a listening audience to hear the things that don't work for a designer or for a podcaster as you're trying to figure out how your tastes and mine match. If I only ever tell you the things I like, it gets harder for you to figure that out. So, in that regard, I've played the Imperial Settlers Roll and Write a number of times now, and each time I play it, I find it less interesting. Part of it is I haven't tried the solo mode yet. There's a solo mode with a pad of 50 unique boards, so each time you play, you would have a new puzzle to solve. Versus when you're playing the competitive game, you all get the same map, and it's the same every time. Now, admittedly, there is a difference in scoring cards, and the dice that come out change the experience a bit each time, but ultimately I found it pretty samey, and I'm not that keen to play it a bunch more times. So Imperial Settlers Roll and Write did not do it for me. The next award is the most habit forming, and for me that would be the 2019 Spiel des Jahres winner, or the Kennerspiel des Jahres. I think it won the Kennerspiel. That's Wingspan. So Wingspan is a game you've certainly heard of at this point. If you haven't, it's a bird-themed engine building game. And I really liked it. You know, I got it early on. When Stonemaier advertised it, I went and pre-ordered it right away. So I had it by the end of January last year, and we played the heck out of it. My wife really likes it. My family likes it. We bought the expansion and have enjoyed that. It's just an excellent light to medium weight game that's got lots of fun pictures and fun resources, and it's just it really fits for us. So it's habit forming in that I just want to keep playing it. That's Wingspan, my third award of the day. So my fourth award is Disappointed. If you have ever seen A Fish Called Wanda, there's a character in there, the Kevin Kline character, who is a sort of bumbling assassin. And when something goes wrong for him, he will shout, "Disappointed!" This became a bit of a meme because Kevin Sorbo imitated that figure when he was doing a villain doppelganger character in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. And it became a bit of a internet meme because somebody said that they didn't recognize the reference to A Fish Called Wanda, so they said they thought he was acting and speaking aloud the stage direction in the script. Like the stage direction said his character was disappointed, so he shouted "disappointed." And that was the story for a while. But anyway, I think that's a funny story, and so it's a good name for an award, Disappointed. Obviously, the Disappointed award is going to be the award for the game. It's kind of the opposite of Bester than expected. The game that is least enjoyable compared to how enjoyable I thought it was going to be. And this for me is the Funkoverse strategy game. Now, I will say, I did not have very high hopes for the Funkoverse strategy game. I assumed it would be awfully light. Nonetheless, I kept hearing from people how it was pretty good. All these people talking about it. Really, I think what they were saying is that the Funko minis are fun. The game itself was really a letdown for me. Just not enough there. It was a very light tactical skirmish game with your miniatures. Very simple powers, very simple goals. I didn't really like it at all, which is disappointing because I do like the little minis, and I love the idea of being able to mix and match, put Batman and one of the Golden Girls in against Voldemort and, I don't know, Harley Quinn or something. Voldemort and Robin versus Harley Quinn and Rose from the Golden Girls. would have been a very funny combination. But ultimately, I just didn't like... We've only played the Harry Potter one, so maybe the wider variety available in the larger Funko universe is more fun. But for me, it was really disappointing. So that's disappointed. All right, my next award that I want to issue to a 2019 game this year is the Goldilocks Award. The Goldilocks Award is for a game that wasn't too exciting, too much over what I expected. It wasn't too much under what I expected. It was just right. And it could be just right in terms of its use of mechanisms or its gameplay experience or whatever. The idea is it's a game that just fit exactly where I needed it to, or wanted it to be. And there it is. So the game for me that fits the Goldilocks category is Hellboy the board game. Now, you know, dear listener, that I went in pretty heavily on Hellboy the board game. In fact, I got it's the most money I've ever spent on a Kickstarter. Because I got the main game, I got both of the expansions that came with the main game. I ordered, I think, one set of upgrades, but I didn't get the super fancy upgrades, but I got a lot of stuff for that game. I even ordered one of the expansions that they released later. I have moved past the idea that I want to be all in on it, because they just released a Christmas one that's like a Krampus figure, and it was one figure and a couple cards for $40 or $44, and I was like, no, that's where I'm out. So I won't be getting any more of the Hellboy game, I don't think. But the game that's there is really pretty good. It's fun to play. It's easy to remember and learn. The scenarios are varied and interesting. The combat is fun. The models are neat. So it is just what I wanted it to be, and it makes me happy to have one of these big, mini, heavy, crazy games. And I'm happy to have it be Hellboy, the board game. That's my Goldilocks game. Finally, the last award I want to issue tonight is the No Thanks Award. This would be for the game that I played one time, and if anyone asks me if I want to play it again, I will say, no thanks. It doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad game. It's not a good fit for me, or for some reason, it's just not a game I need to play again, or even want to play again. In this case, it is One Night Supervillains. I think it's called One Night Supervillains. It's possible it's One Night Superheroes. I honestly don't remember. My game design partner Rob and I played this at Gen Con this year, and I was kind of excited to play it originally. My family really enjoys One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I probably, if you look at a list of all the games I've played and put them in order of number of plays, One Night Ultimate Werewolf is definitely in the top 10. I've played it many, many times, and we enjoy it. I still have fun with it almost every time we play. So I was excited to try One Night Supervillain until we got to play it, and they handed out the roll cards and explained what they did. And now maybe we didn't get into the deep archives of the pile of roll cards. Those games always come with a bunch of them, and the weirder ones are not the ones you start with because people don't know the game. But the ones that were available seemed to me to be just new names for the roles from One Night Werewolf. Like almost identical powers, or literally identical powers, maybe even the same wording. You just, instead of being because I think you're all supervillains, so you're looking for the hero. So instead of being the hero, and so in the werewolf one, instead of being the werewolf and the minion, in this one you're the superhero and the sidekick. I don't remember if exactly it's that way, but basically just there was a one-to-one mapping for a significant number of the powers, and I found the game pretty disappointing because of that. I wasn't playing a new game. I was just playing a reskinned version of an old game. So in that regard, One Night Supervillains or One Night Superheroes, I apologize that I don't remember what it's called, gets a no thanks from me. I don't need to try that one again. All right, so here at the end of the list, I did want to call out a couple games from 2019 that I thought were pretty great, and I suspect they would probably be in a top 5 or top 10 list if I were to make one right now. But I'm going to wait till next year to do that. So these are games to keep an eye on, games that that probably would find their way in. I've already talked about a couple of them. Wingspan and Res Arcana both fit that mold pretty well, and I think will certainly be back. A couple others I wanted to call out. It's a Wonderful World. I've mentioned a little bit. It's a card drafting game similar to Seven Wonders, but with a bit more, a bit broader chance for you to use all the cards. It's less likely that you're going to get stuck with a card you don't want. Interesting interactions between the cards and slightly faster playtime, and I think easier to score. So It's a Wonderful World. I'm not convinced it's better than Seven Wonders yet, but I do really enjoy it. Point Salad is a very light game, but super fun. Really tight, elegantly designed game where every card has a vegetable on one side and a scoring formula on the other. On your turn, you either take 2 vegetables or 1 scoring formula. And at the end of the game, you score all your formulas with all the vegetables you took. You can turn a formula into a vegetable anytime you want by flipping it over, or you can do that once per turn. But you can never go the other way. So once something's a veggie, you can't put it back into a formula. But it's a really interesting game, very fun, plays really quick, and easy to teach. And very thinky. So you can play it, even if you're a pretty experienced gamer, you can have a good time with it. Or if you're brand new, it's not too hard to pick up. So Point Salad, excellent, definitely up there. A number of other games sort of meet the criteria of getting worthy of a mention. I will say Tiny Towns and Nanty Narking were both favorites of mine this year. But the other one I really want to take a moment to call out is QE. QE is a auction game in which you get to bid as much money as you want. But at the end of the game, the person who's spent the most is out. And it's kind of secret how much you've spent. So it's really interesting game, very fun to try to get the other people to raise their bids, or to watch somebody just continually getting overbid until they bid something completely outrageous and then they lose because they've spent too much. It's perfect. So QE, definitely a game to watch. So that's about it for me. Hop over to Board Game Geek Guild 3269 and let me know what games you want to call out from 2019. What awards would you offer? Let me know in the comments there. Until next time, thanks for walking with me, and I hope your next walk is as pleasant as mine was. Bye-bye.
Brought to you by Rattlebox Games.